Imagine being a driver so naturally aligned with the future of Formula One that the biggest regulation reset in decades doesn't threaten you. It favors you. Imagine everyone else panicking about 2026, while one driver quietly smiles because the sport is finally moving in his direction. That driver is Max Verstappen. And today we're breaking down why Max Verstappen's driving style may be perfectly engineered for Formula One's 2026 reset, and why that should terrify the rest of the grid. Because make no mistake, 2026 isn't just another rules update. It's a complete philosophical shift. Lighter cars, lower grip, less downforce, more hybrid complexity, less reliance on aero, more on driver input. And if you've followed Max Verstappen closely over the years, you'll realize something unsettling. This is exactly the environment he was built for. But here's the twist. Most fans think Max dominates because of high downforce Red Bulls. What if that belief is completely wrong? Stay with me, because by the end of this breakdown, you'll see why 2026 could expose many drivers and elevate Max even further. Max Verstappen didn't learn to drive in comfort. He learned to drive in chaos. From karting days where grip was inconsistent, to junior formulas where mechanical balance mattered more than aero, Max developed a style based on instinctive car control, not perfection. While many drivers were trained to wait for grip, Max was trained to create it. That distinction matters more than ever heading into 2026. The new regulations will significantly reduce overall aerodynamic downforce and increase reliance on mechanical grip, energy deployment, and throttle discipline. Cars will be lighter, more nervous, and far less forgiving. And historically, when Formula One becomes unstable, Max Verstappen becomes dangerous. Think about it. Max has always preferred a sharp front end with a loose rear. He's comfortable with rotation, comfortable with oversteer, comfortable when the car moves underneath him. While most drivers fight instability, Max uses it. That's not theory, that's observable data across seasons. When grip levels drop, wet races, cold tracks, dirty air, Verstappen consistently gains lap time relative to the field. His inputs stay precise when others hesitate. His throttle modulation stays smooth when others spike wheel spin. And most importantly, he doesn't need the car to feel perfect to be fast. That's a massive advantage in 2026. Because the truth nobody wants to admit is this: most modern F1 drivers are optimized for peak downforce conditions. They rely on aero to stabilize the car. Take that away and suddenly mistakes appear, lockups increase, traction errors multiply, confidence drops. Max, he thrives there, and here's where things get even more interesting. 2026 power units will deliver a much higher proportion of energy electrically, with drivers managing deployment corner by corner. That means throttle control won't just be about speed, it'll be about decision making. When to deploy, when to harvest, when to compromise entry speed for exit efficiency. This is where Max's race IQ quietly becomes lethal. He doesn't just drive corners, he sequences them. He thinks 2 corners ahead. He sacrifices entry to dominate exits. He understands energy flow instinctively, not mathematically. And in a formula where energy management becomes just as important as braking points, that instinctive understanding becomes priceless. Quick pause. If you're still watching, congratulations, you officially care more about F1 than 90% of Twitter. Hit subscribe before you forget, because like a late pit stop, regret comes fast. Now, let's talk about something fans often misunderstand. Many people believe Max's dominance is purely aggression, that he sends it because he can. But aggression without calculation leads to crashes. And Max rarely crashes. What you're actually seeing is risk calculation at speed. He knows exactly how much grip is available, exactly how much energy he can deploy, and exactly how much margin he needs to stay ahead. In 2026, that margin shrinks for everyone. Lighter cars mean faster reactions but less stability. Reduced aero means mistakes aren't masked. Hybrid complexity means misjudgment costs lap time instantly. Drivers who rely on predictability will struggle. Drivers who can adapt mid-corner will rise, that's Verstappen. And this isn't just about driving, it's about mindset. Max doesn't need dominance to feel confident. He's comfortable in uncertainty. He doesn't panic when the car isn't perfect. In fact, some of his best performances have come when Red Bull wasn't the fastest car on paper. That psychological comfort in discomfort is rare. Ask yourself this: how many drivers look calm when the rear steps out at 280 kilometers per hour? Exactly. Now let's introduce a quiet but crucial detail: weight reduction. 2026 cars will be significantly lighter than the current generation. That changes everything. Lighter cars respond faster, rotate quicker, punish over inputs instantly. If you're rough, the car bites. If you're smooth, it rewards. Max Verstappen has one of the cleanest steering input profiles on the grid. His corrections are minimal. His hands are calm even when the car isn't. That precision becomes amplified in lighter machinery. This is where many drivers could be exposed because lighter cars don't forgive panic corrections. They don't allow late saves, they demand commitment, and Max commits early. He rotates the car early, gets on throttle earlier, trusts the rear earlier. That's how lap time is born. Let me throw a question at you and answer honestly in the comments. Do you think Max would be as dominant if the car demanded more driver input instead of less? Because that's exactly what 2026 is doing. And here's the cliffhanger. Most teams are still designing cars to stabilize drivers. Red Bull designs cars to unleash Max. That philosophy mismatch could decide the next era. Another factor fans overlook is simulator adaptability. Max is known for extraordinary simulator correlation. He translates virtual behavior to real-world feel faster than almost anyone. In a regulation reset, where simulation accuracy will be crucial early on, that gives him a head start before the first race even begins. By the time others are learning the car, Max will already be optimizing it. And here's the part that should worry rivals the most. Max is still improving. His aggression is more controlled. His race management is sharper. His mistakes are fewer. And now the sport is shifting toward a formula that rewards exactly those traits. Let that sink in. Before we continue, do me a favor. Drop a like if you enjoy these deep dive explanations. It tells the algorithm you want more real analysis, not just hot takes and rumors. Now let's talk about teammates. Year after year, Verstappen's teammates struggle not because they're slow, but because they can't replicate how he extracts performance from unstable cars. That gap isn't closing in 2026. If anything, it may widen. Because when the car demands intuition over predictability, imitation fails. You can copy braking points, you can copy lines. You cannot copy feel, and Max's feel for a moving car is elite. So when fans say 2026 will reset everything, they're right. But resets don't create equality, they reveal foundations. And Verstappen's foundation was built in exactly this kind of environment. Now here's the final question, the one that frames the entire future. If Max Verstappen dominates in 2026, will we finally stop crediting the car and start admitting that the sport has evolved toward his strengths? Or will fans keep chasing excuses? Either way, one thing is clear. 2026 isn't a threat to Max Verstappen. It's an invitation. And if you want to understand how this new era could reshape Formula One completely, tap the next video on screen right now, where we break down how the 2026 regulations could expose half the grid overnight. I'll see you there.